there's just a little bit of silver from the shadows reflecting the flames. They're not really flames on the wall. David Pohl helped me with the lighting. I wanted the lighting to be quite dim, but not too dark. So it was sort of soothing in a way to be here, but not typical of an art space, not really bright. So again, it's like a theatrical space. The shadows were incredibly important. They became like drawings on the wall. The lines of them were like a separate drawing for me, and with the chandelier as well. And the shadows from the vases too, when you walk around them, that is also like a drawing or lines of a piece in itself. So I think that's all I have to say about it, if anyone has any questions.
Did you read fairy tales?
I did read fairy tales growing up. Grimm's fairy tales in particular, which are quite terrifying.
Yeah. I ask that because there's a certain suggestion here to me of Sleeping Beauty with the briars and the thorns, these sort of antiquated chandeliers. You could almost imagine them with cobwebs because they seem like something from a distant past in a way. And the vases made me think in a way of sort of like a sundial, because they are casting the shadows each way. And as you said, as you walk around, you get this sense of time sort of shifting.
That's a beautiful poem.
That's funny, because I wasn't thinking sundial, but I was thinking the exact same thing about time. And maybe that's why. It's really interesting.
Oh yeah, I was gonna, so like, you're saying that this is like a lot to do with like your memories of living in Memphis, and then I noticed like on your website, like all of your pictures were titled like the names of cities. So like, why do you think that like location is so like interesting to you?
I become, as a person, very, very attached to places, almost like people. And I made a short film once called A Wife and Two Mistresses. And my wife being Los Angeles, my mistresses being Paris and Memphis. Although Memphis really I think of as my mother because it's my hometown. And I consider my background Southern, but I get incredibly attached to places and people as well. But there's something about landscape and light and atmosphere, the essence of a place that really seems to get into my being, and I miss it so much. Different places that I'm away from. I would miss Memphis when I was away from Memphis, and at the moment I'm really missing the ocean and the landscape and the light from the West Coast. So I think of places as relationships, and they can be as, you can become just as attached to them as to people, and I long for them, and I sort of ache for places that I've kind of fallen in love with. And I feel that way about Memphis too. So they're very important to me.
Terri, I don't really know your previous work except for what you did at Map Space and a little bit here and there, but has your work changed since you've come back home?
This is a pretty sentimental show for me, I think. So, I try to, keep sentimentality, at a distance, but I couldn't help but, fall into the, I don't know, I didn't want to say trap, but I think my work is normally pretty delicate, and so that's in keeping with the show. I do use found objects, and what I realized too is that I tend to set up a theatrical installation. There's the audience, and then there's the theater or the altarpiece. I don't know that it's changed, except that this for me was really dealing with a personal experience. But I feel like I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy for the opportunity to be showing work here. And so I feel like I'm in a good place with work, and I just want to keep going, you know, and just keep working hard.
I saw your photography show that you took us to at Playhouse on the Square. Yeah, that's where it was. And I feel like a lot of your work deals heavily with memories, even if you don't realize it does, because as you described the pictures that you'd taken, they dealt heavily with the memories that you had from that time, such as the one with the cat and the house, of how you remember going there. And I think you might think about it a little bit more than
It is about memory and passage of time, and making sense of the journey and where I've been, where I am, where I'm going. So it is about memory, and memory can really shift and change, you know, and not even be accurate, you know, perhaps. But it's the way thoughts and your histories are constructed, and the way you do that, and what you choose to remember and make a history of. So that's a very creative process, and different people, I think, take different liberties with those kind of reconstructions of your memory, and I certainly do.